13 love everybody. Rise up fly, stay true like the nines, Royal Obey. See that? Try to make sure I don't get distracted by certain shit, certain thoughts, The mind wants what it wants. The heart wants what it wants. I don't know why I said that, but anyway. Alright, so I was watching fucking, what's it called? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? And on that movie, I'm showing it to a friend of mine, and I've watched certain things and I picked up different information this time that I didn't see last time. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Anytime you watch something and you see it over and over, which I've seen this movie over and over and over again, and that movie speaks a lot. It talks about a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? We started even watching The Men That Stare at Goats, another movie. Talks about a lot of different things, and I've been having conversations with different people, family, close friends. They've seen my videos or I've contacted them and we've had conversations, and they're starting to see that, the things that I'm talking about, it's like there's some truth to it, I ain't gonna say what I say is 100% the truth, you know what I'm saying? This is all from my mind. This is all from the mind of Royale. So, this is my interpretation of the same energy that we're all receiving every day. See, we're all receiving energy every day, We're all receiving a certain amount of energy from all the stars and planets that's within this galaxy, if they exist. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the physical representation of these planets. If that exists, then, okay, that's what's up. But nonetheless, the energy that is being called these planets and the constellations that's being associated with these houses are there. The houses, I'll say that right now, like the houses of Aries through Pisces, which even though those constellations are not the house, it's just the original constellations that was birthed out of that house. Or should I say, these are just the constellations that we use to describe these houses. So ultimately, you're dealing with 12 houses. And in these 12 houses, they are all sitting and producing a certain vibratorial frequency that is producing a certain vibrational color from low to high. And so each house is a chakra. Each house is representing a ray beam. So you got the house of Aries is red, so on and so forth, and all that. All of these colors are representing the overall aura field of a being. Also, your internal lights that you produce out from your aura field. This is what this is representing. Ultimately representing your halo or your rainbow, your Ark of the Covenant, your, as my brother Dolo would say, your, what they call it? Your, what the fuck? Your, what the fuck they call that shit? Not Van Allen's belt, but your, I can't think of the word right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You're creating your bubble. Because even when you're talking about the Ark, the rainbow coming over you. Know intentionally, know instinctually inside that rainbow, the fact that it made an arc, there's a second part of the rainbow. So it's really not just the arc. It's not a rainbow arc. It's a circle arc. It's a circle rainbow. The same one you see around the sun. You know how you go out and if you can see that and never seen the sun producing a rainbow around it, that is your aura field. It's the non-physical representation of your placenta or the egg that you spawned from, she was made in. So understand that the egg and the sperm cell are nothing but, these are nothing but vessels and ships. Vessel and ship. Ironically, you got the sperm cell, you got the egg. Looks like the positive sign, the power sign. If I put it like that, it's the power sign. This is also, this is, see what I'm saying? Listen, look. Female, male, which ironically, okay, because that looks like the negative side, but that's not the negative side. This is representing that little line in the circle. It's representing, circle represents the womb, line represents the phallus. When the phallus enters the circle, it powers on. This is also your power sign if you hold it straight. Make sure you see it. See? It's your power sign. It's your power sign. So electromagnetic energy is being created, which is positive and negative energy. See what I'm saying? Positive energy will be yang. Negative energy will be yin. Yang will be light, or light that you can see. Yin will be darkness, or light that you can't see. You see what I'm saying? Let me go a little color for you right there. You see purple come off me? So, and shit, I ain't living the best. I even tell people my business. This is my business. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm still glowing and shit. I don't live the best. But I did that for a reason. Just to check. Because, it's so much information in this world that's being out, man. You don't know what's true. You got to become your own scientist. You got to do your own experiments, and you got to find out things for yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to go do no damn crack or something like that. What I'm saying is, be mindful of what you're doing. But, you know what I'm saying, you need to experience and experiment. Ironically, experience and experiments sound pretty fucking similar. So, it's the X, exalting, that going out and getting it kind of energy, you know what I'm saying? Bringing it back, entering, overstanding, and pushing it out to the world. But anyway, I was talking about that, right? That's a side story. Sorry, because I really ain't got nothing to come on here and talk about. I mean, I got a lot to come on here and talk about, but I didn't have anything specifically to talk about. But yeah, so male, female, boop, 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 boop. And I was talking about your oral field. Okay, so when the baby, first of all, the baby is not the egg or the sperm. The body is the egg and the sperm together. Because you can have female eggs with heartbeats already. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that means that they don't necessarily have to have, because people are associating that like the male egg is what brings in the spirit, but not necessarily. Like, even with dealing with the heart is where the Most High, this is the gateway, it's a portal. It's like, it's our ultimate tool and our gateway and escape out of any situation. This is why we're on a heart planet. We're in Earth. We're on Earth. Heart, H-E-A-R-T. Take the H, put it on by the T. It's Earth automatically. You see what I'm saying? We're on this heart planet. So for females to have eggs with heartbeats already in it, that's good, playing into the whole idea that the first beings that were here were melanated, and the first beings that were the first beings that were on this planet were also female. They weren't male. They already had a heartbeat. But when the egg and the sperm cell combine, they always see a giant spark of light. This light comes out of nowhere. And it activates and it starts transforming and fusing the egg and sperm cell to create the smaller cells that start creating the embryos. From the one cell, it splits into two. From two, it splits into four. From 4 to 8, and then so on and so forth, before ultimately forming into a human embryo. And before it reaches that stages, it goes through all the embryonic stages of every being, everything on this planet. So the same, all the embryos from an animal to an insect to a human, or maybe just even for a human and an animal, or for a fish too. Every embryo looks exactly the same. And then it reaches a point in a cellular expansion, because you remember your cells is making up organs. Your single cell turns into many cells, and all these cells is making up you. So you're just like a big ass body of cells. And all these cells have their own awareness, and that's a whole nother different story, because they have jobs to do to keep this vessel constantly expanding for the spirit that is leading the vessel. So you are none of these vessels. All of these vessels are the pieces of the zodiac or the rainbow that is given to you to be your own individual spirit, your own complete spirit, your own soul. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that you don't need, you're self-sustaining, like the sun. The sun does not need to drink, does not need to eat. It doesn't need anything. So because it doesn't need anything and it has everything, it gives everything. So every day you see the sun gives its sunlight. It gives its rays. It gives vitamin D. It constantly gives. You see what I'm saying? It constantly gives every day because it's self-sustaining. And this is a whole separate thing. So don't get confused, but I'm just using the sun as an example to show you that, like, as a self-sustaining being, a lot of times you're not doing things because you have to. You're doing it because you want to, because you are already in a state of abundance, because you are self-sustaining. You don't have to rely, even if you don't have everything, you have the capability of getting and acquiring everything or anything that you need because you are self-sustaining. That in itself is the virtue and principle of self-identification. See what I'm saying? Of being an individual spirit, a soul. Spirits, more often than not, have to follow another spirit. And usually the spirit they're following is a soul. Now, you can become a soul based on the amount of followers that you have and are worshiping and giving you energy. Or you can become a soul based on you upholding, adding to, and destroying certain principles and virtues that you have, creating a better system of morality that allows you to navigate and be of service for everybody else. I.e., this is why Yahshua was the servant of the Most High, and not his son. But we are all sons, all children. So even when you're talking about the son, S-O-N, the son, S-U-N, that's still only talking about identity. It's just talking about you as yourself. That's why the only way you can go through the Father was through him. But he didn't say the only way you can go through Father is through Jesus. He said through me. So now if I say that, anytime I say that scripture, I'm always telling the person that I'm reading the scripture to that the only way they can meet the Father is through me. I'm not speaking of Jesus. I'm saying it about me. By default. By default, you will subconsciously associate Jesus to yourself. I hope it's making sense. Let me stop before I start confusing people, because I'm speaking I'm talking about the science of spirituality. It's a science. We are beings, spiritual beings that are in robotic, organic bodies. Organic, robotic bodies. That's what we're in. So, back to your aura field, right? So, let's just, I'll be sad talking and stuff like that, but just giving you little shits that you can help you better see what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? Feel where I'm coming from. So, right. So all these houses is representing the sun. Actually, it's representing the aura field around the sun. So that's why I say, like, even if these planets exist, because like they could just be talking about the houses as the sun moves through the houses, like Dolo was saying. But I mean it as if like, but not necessarily as the sun moves through the houses. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what they could be talking about. I mean, it really makes sense when you start getting into like the more metaphysical side of it and start understanding that you are the soul. You are the sun. The sun. Another word for the sun is soul, because that's what we were seeing. It. See, the ancients was using things to try to explain something that's not in this realm. So we use things that could be seen of higher value than other things in nature. So, you know what I'm saying? We use the trees and like, so like you got like trees and you got like bumblebees, but you also have like the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon in a lot of spiritual teachings is always seen that the highest form of masculine energy and the highest form of feminine energy, which these two things are the main sources of energy that play out in this universe. In these cosmos is the masculine and feminine energy. But we know these are representing negative and positive, two polarities of energy, of electromagnetic energy. Females producing more magnetic energy and males producing more electric energy. But they both produce electromagnetic energy. But one is more to giving and one is more into receiving, which will be the female. She's more into taking light in, which is why she is the darkness, because darkness is what? It's nothing but a collective of all the colors put together, which we learned in school. Like, this is some shit you learned. This is a high science you taught yourself when you was in school, just taking the paint and just mixing the paint together. But see, you were learning from elders and ancestors. They didn't speak to you. It was all about a feeling and the vision. The mouth, the words that was coming out of your mouth was the last thing. But the feeling and the thought don't have to exist or don't have to be expressed in this realm to still have they don't have to be said to be. I don't know what the baby did. The baby did something. He might have hurt himself. Hope he all right. But the spirit, your mind, your thoughts, and your feelings don't have to be expressed just for them to be felt in this realm. You see what I'm saying? Your mind and your thoughts don't have to be said out of your mouth or written down to be felt in this realm. You can just project it off as a vibratorial frequency. You see what I'm saying? Which really, when you're talking about a frequency, you're talking about a form of electricity, because it's just like a charge. And then when you're talking about a vibration, you're speaking of a field, a magnetism, because a magnetism is always going to create a field because it's receiving, it's pulling everything in. So now this is where you get vibratory frequency from, because the frequency, let's say the frequency is like all your cars, right? That's a perfect example. Let's say you're trying to start up a lawnmower. You pull a string. Vroom, vroom, vroom. That right there itself is a frequency. That frequency is electric, because when you hear it, what does that sound make you feel like it's doing? It make it sound like it's something shooting past you. Like if I was to stand behind you and just go vroom, that sound will constantly feel. Don't think. Just be yourself and think about that. Don't try to think. Oh my gosh, yo. Don't overthink. Just feel. When you sitting there and you hear somebody trying to rev up an engine to a lawnmower, it sounds like the energy is going vroom, vroom. It's shooting past you. But once the engine starts, vroom, that sounds like that is a vibration. Once it hits that point, it's a vibration. And now when you hear this doesn't sound like a sound that's sparking and then dying off. It sounds like something that's continuous. So that it's a more solid wave to the point that you actually start feeling engulfed in that sound. And then until your body will adjust to that vibration. As you're cutting the grass, it'd be real loud when you first hear it. Then you also, you kind of don't really even notice it. You might have your headphones in. You don't really notice the sound at all. And then once you turn the lawnmower off, you realize how loud it was. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's that magnetic field, because you was in the field that was being produced from the lawnmower. Even when you're in the car, you sit in the car and the car's going. And let's say you ain't saying nothing, you hear. As soon as you start talking to somebody, you sitting there, y'all ain't driving nowhere, you just sitting there talking. As you talking, you don't even hear that sound no more. But as soon as y'all stop talking, there it go again. Because you're in the field. It's not a spark. It's not something that's like startling. A spark is also like something like, shocking. But anyway, let's keep going. So back to this aura field, right? So now this aura field is a representation of your placenta, because your sperm is a representation of your spine. So the placenta is just really the place where your spine or your spirit was able to expand. But as the spirit or the spine, now this is my own interpretation I'm giving to you. But as your spirit has now come into that egg with that sperm cell, it is now creating, right? It's not just using the sperm, it's pulling everything from the fucking eggs too. So all the fluid that's in the egg, all the nutrients. This is why they tell women after they have a baby, you're actually supposed to be eating your placenta. You ain't gotta eat it. You can take it, chop it up, dry it out, and you can make it into powder form and take them as pills, because this is all just as the male sperm, when he's producing sperm, it's the best cells, it's the best everything, it's your best it's some of your last few thoughts, it's like a lot, it's the best cells. But on the physical level, it's your best cells. It's the best cells you have of your body being taken and being produced, so that you can, because the spirit that's about to enter into the world now, it needs a fresh body. It needs fresh cells. It needs new cells. It can't take old cells, and because then they'll come out, messed up. You know what I'm saying? So everybody you get a fresh start every time you come here. Every time you come here, you get a fresh start. Okay, so right, you know what I'm saying? So you need so that's, you do your thing, you come out, and so when you come out, you are the living representation of the sperm cell, right? And your aura field is the living representation of the placenta that you were in. But see, you are both of these things because you are using both of these things. These are tools that you use to manifest within this realm. But in truth, your aura field is a representation of your actual spirit. Your spirit complete and whole already. I'll be fucking going. If you know what I'm talking about, man, I've been talking for 24 minutes, man. I'm finna get off this thing, yo. I'll be constantly dropping it. Dropping the power, bro. Power. Cause listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Like I told my homeboy Baba though. Listen, so-called Jesus, my main man Joshua, he was telling niggas, you can walk on walls. My nigga Joshua said that we was supposed to be on his level and past his level. Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm finna power up. 13 love, I'm out.